Can introverts succeed in real estate? Hey, it's Jaime with Echo Real Estate Advisors. Welcome back to the channel that provides actionable content to help your business grow. Don't forget to subscribe, as every month I give away one of my Facebook, Google, and YouTube courses away for free, simply for being a subscriber. Okay, this topic is very near and dear to my heart. Introverts, I'm speaking to you. And extroverts, you can also listen in just to see if there's anything that you can extrapolate from it. I guarantee you that you will. But either way, the reason it's so near and dear to my heart is because I am an introvert. So make sure to stay to the end, where I share how to establish authority, how to get attention from potential clients, i.e. get business, and be heard without saying anything. Okay, I continue to hear from my introvert friends, my introvert brethren and sisterin. I don't know if there's a difference or if that's even a word, but I hear that, hey, I wish I was an extrovert. I wish that I could talk to people just so freely. I wish I could be out there. I wish I could be the loudest one in the room. I wish I blah, 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 blah. So if you haven't heard it, then you haven't been around a introvert that wishes to be an extrovert. And that's fine, but I hear it quite a bit. Well, to answer the question, can introverts succeed in real estate? Absolutely 100%. And in fact, I would argue that introverts, as far as the real estate perspective goes, make better agents than extroverts. Now that's my opinion. You could very well not agree with that, so please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But I do think that in many cases, the introvert can actually be a better real estate agent than an extrovert. There's anomalies and everything. There are outliers. I understand that. I am generalizing. But I do believe that introverts have such a gift in being able to listen and not have the need to talk. There are people out there that need to talk. Introverts have they're listeners first, and when they need to, they'll articulate something, right? So, again, generalizing, but here we go. Introverts, really what the biggest struggle for introverts is getting business. So there's two parts of a transaction. There's the going out and getting business, which is what introverts struggle with greatly. And then there's actually servicing the business. So in real estate, it manifests itself as I need to market myself in order for people to know that I exist, know that I can help with the home buying and home selling journey. And then from a servicing perspective is helping those home sellers sell their home and helping the home buyers buy a home. So the reason I believe the introverts excel in the servicing of the business is because there is that listening component. There is the asking questions as follow-up, essentially probing and getting some additional information without feeling the need to, speak, if you will. So there is that attention, there is that care, there is that it's about the client. It's about the client. It's about the client. Maybe the introvert, full disclosure, maybe the introvert is thinking about himself or herself more than the client. Just because they're not talking doesn't mean that they're fully engaged, but at least it gives that perception that they are. So just naturally, you have that in an introvert's favor. So just because an introvert is quiet and not necessarily speaking when the buyer is going on and on and on about what they would like, doesn't mean that the introvert isn't necessarily thinking, well, what am I going to say next? Do I present well? Does this person think that I am going to be able to help them out or not? Like, how can I better? That's happening all the time. So just because the introvert is quiet doesn't necessarily mean that they are tuned in and actually listening. Most of the time they are, but I I know an introvert, and I catch myself doing that a lot too. So full disclosure, I'm not saying introverts are perfect. I gave the disclaimer beforehand. I am an introvert, and this is coming from a pure subjective standpoint. I believe that introverts can succeed because they have that ability. They have even some just natural that help them service the business. So I'm not going to dwell or focus too much in the servicing aspect because I do believe just introverts naturally have that in them. And I may do some more technical videos when it comes to that aspect of it for you real estate introverts out there. But I want to focus more on how to actually get business. Because if you can't get business from the outside world, if you can't get somebody to trust you to actually be their agent, then over here you have nobody to practice on. And a few months down the road, depending how much you have in your bank account, you may need to go find another profession. So we want to avoid that. We want you to stay in business. So I'm going to forgo this for a second, and actually for the rest of the video, I'm going to focus more on getting business from an introvert's perspective. Now is the best time to be an introvert. Let me repeat that. Today is the best time to be an introvert than any other time in history. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but I don't believe that it is. I believe that today is the best time, the most fabulous time, the perfect time for an introvert to be in the space. Why? Because go 10 years back, go 15 years back, go 20 years back, and the way that you actually got business was having to go to those networking meetings, having to go out and physically put your business card into somebody's hand out there. You needed to go and have these meetups. You needed to go reach out. You needed to have that phone call. You needed to reach out very intensely and be out there. So us introverts, we have a hard time being out there. We have a hard time being in front of a camera. This isn't that bad. I kind of enjoy the webcam now, but I'm still a hardcore introvert. I'd much rather, I won't get too much into that. Now, with social media, you can have such an impact and not even say anything. You can write this long form blog and people are going to see that. You can do a webcam video and upload it to Facebook, upload it to Twitter, upload it into LinkedIn, upload it to Instagram, upload it, I think I already said Facebook. I was about to say Google Plus, but Google Plus went away earlier this year, so you can't do it there. Now, again, this is something that you can do today. You don't have to go out to these networking events. You don't have to pick up the phone, as I mentioned earlier. So if you don't feel comfortable in front of a camera, go to voice. If you don't feel comfortable being in front of a camera, get on the phone. And if you don't feel comfortable making calls, whether that's to your sphere of influence or to the cold calling, getting on Mojo Dialer and dialing away, introverts have a hard time doing that. If you don't feel comfortable there, you can move over to the written form. That's where a lot of the introverts find a home. That's where I find a good amount of my comfort zone, in the written form. I'm an average writer. I wouldn't say I'm great, but I'm an okay writer, but I feel at home here. So if I don't feel comfortable making those calls, I do feel comfortable texting. I do feel comfortable messaging back and forth. I leverage that quite a bit, and it's not because I'm a millennial. I guess it does kind of lend itself to that, but I attribute it more to my introvertness, because I don't fall into a lot of the other categories that millennials are typically categorized as. So if you don't feel at home in front of a camera, i.e. video, audio, the verbal, making calls, or you can go over to texting, or you can go into Facebook, to Instagram, into all these social media platforms and write. If you don't feel comfortable there, which most likely you will, direct message people. You don't like being out you don't like people that, I don't want to post this because people are going to see it. Well, at some point somebody has to see your message in order to use you as a realtor, right? So, we can only be so shy to a certain extent until we run out of money and go bankrupt. So at some point you do have to get your message out there. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing your writings with the world, or all over your newsfeed, or in garage groups, different community groups, all of that, direct message people. Direct message people that have a need, direct message people that have a question that you're able to answer them, and there's that one-on-one space where you can communicate. Introverts thrive with the one-on-one communication. I don't know why, but they do. So do those DMs and cultivate that one-on-one relationship, which we thrive in. If that is even too much, direct mail. Direct mail is there for you. There's going to be people that will reach out to you once they get their message. And at that point, if the phone rings, us introverts, we're going to feel bad if we don't answer it. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up and start servicing. We don't have to be the most vocal ones out there. We don't have to be heard all of the time. We need to be heard some of the time, or else we're out of business. So introverts, you have a home in real estate. You have a home in a sales career. You just need to leverage the type of things that make you comfortable. And I'm not saying and suggesting that you just stay in your comfort zone. At some point, you do have to push past that and grow, but know that you can succeed just with your gifts right now. And as you go forward, yes, challenge yourself and go and have that extrovert, try to play in the extrovert space for a little bit, then regress back to introvert and chip away at it. Okay, now making good on my promise of how to establish yourself as an authority, get business, and be heard without saying anything. Go and find as many lenders as possible and subscribe to their newsletter or their email list, or anything that they can provide that they're doing on their auto drip. Get on as many of those as possible. As soon as you receive something of quality, whether that's an infographic, whether that's a checklist, whether that's a short blog or a short message that you see as a real estate professional, you see value in, clip it or snapshot it, or whatever it is. I'm assuming that it's an email at this point. Or rewrite it, copy and paste it. Put it on your social media page. Give credit to the lender, clearly, but because you do want to source your audience, you don't want to pass that off as yours, but post it on your social media pages, tag your lender, because the lender at that point, they're going to feel, one, they're going to be like, whoa, people are actually opening my auto drips, which is cool. It's good to see, but also it gives them an opportunity for them to share. So your message that you posted on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you posted on social media is being magnified by the original source. You paid homage to them by, tagging them. It's like, hey, I got this from Supreme Lending, blah, blah, blah. And now you have a joint venture in that marketing piece. Your message is going to go longer. They're going to want to share a post that you created, but they're going to share selfish reasons that, oh, hey, somebody saw enough value to post something that I created or that I shared with them. So now you have a joint venture in that post that is going to be magnified without you having to create it, without you having to really do much work for that. As far as you introverts, that is a very, very good way to establish yourself as an authority. It's a very good way that other people are going to see that you're in the business and are going to ask you follow-up questions. And that is saying something, whatever the topic was, that's you saying something without you physically having to say it. Well, that's it, folks. That's the value I had for you today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Only if I earned it. Outside of that, keep calling your shot, keep pushing, and execute daily.